Hi everyone, and welcome to this bulb planting video. I did film this in October, but I didn't have time to edit it. But I really wanted to post it because I think it would be so fun to post updates about it in the spring and that you guys have like the background for it because you saw this video. But I have Tulipa, Amazing Parrot, Hyacinthus Aiolo, and Muscari, which I'm just going to call grapes because that's what I called it growing up, and I think that's easier. But we've got the purple grapes, the white hyacinths, and the pink with a little bit of yellow tulips. So I think that will look really pretty together. And it matches my color scheme from this summer actually. Now I don't know if my color scheme is going to be the same next year because I'll decide that in the minute probably. But at least this will match summer 2022 colors. And these are the tulip bulbs. They have the pointy side at the top, and the pointy side points up to the sky. And all of the bulbs are like that, or at least all of the bulbs that I'm planting today have that pointy side that has to go up. These hyacinth bulbs are huge. I did not realize that the bulbs were this big for the hyacinth, and I only have two. So the pack came with 5. I thought it was 6, so I thought I had 3. The other ones are in the other container. It looks the same. If you've seen my balcony garden tour before, it's the one with the sweet peas in it. So I planted some in there too. So now I'm just trying to rearrange them to figure out what would be the best organization for these. And I think in the end I kind of it took me a while to figure it out, but in the end I got kind of a diagonal thing going with the tulips there and then the hyacinths in the opposite corners. So that's what I'm planting there. These bulbs are all supposed to come up early in the spring. I think the grapes might be the earliest ones. And then I actually got some snowdrops later too that I think I put in here too. I definitely put them, I think there were a lot, so I put them in a few different places, and those should come up really early, like when there's still snow. I had them in my garden growing up, and they were always some of the first, and it's just really important to me to get the early flowering bulbs because it's just, I live in a zone 5, I think it is. So the winter is really long, and I'm trying to get flowers out there as early as possible. So I think I got that with the snowdrops. I also saw, so I've been watching a lot of Monty Don this year. I think I watched it last year too, but watching his, the show, Gardener's Worlds. I love it. Oh, by the way, this is me pulling out the measuring tape, being really perfectionist about this, because the hyacinths and the tulips are supposed to be 6 inches apart, and then the grapes are supposed to be 4 inches apart. So technically I did that, but you might see a flaw in my plan where the grapes are also 4 inches away from the tulips and the hyacinths. But I'm hoping that they're small enough that it doesn't impact the tulips or the hyacinths. But speaking of Monty Don, he made a bunch of containers with tulips in them too, and he said that you should pack them in as much as possible. So I don't know, maybe I could have put way more in here, probably actually. Maybe next year I'll just get a whole bunch of tulips into one container, and I wouldn't complain about that. I love tulips, so that would be really exciting too. But for now, we'll just see how this does. He also said that you should put a lot of grit in your dirt because the tulips, they don't like to sit in water, and they get really wet in the winter. But he lives in the UK, and I don't think I'm gonna have that problem because, I mean, first of all, it's going to be winter and there's going to be snow, and they're going to be on the balcony, so they're not going to have a lot of rain coming down on them. And I watched Gardeners. Okay, so I watched Gardener's World, but I also watched Garden Answer on YouTube, and she says that she waters her containers every 2 weeks or so. So that is what I'm planning to do since she lives in a similar zone to me. So that's what I've been doing so far, like watering them every 2 weeks. And I water them with aquarium water because I have aquariums and I have to do water changes on them anyway. So then I use that water on the plants. So I'm hoping I'll be fine. I've got a few different bulbs in here, so we'll see how they do. It's a little bit of an experiment because it's my first time doing this. The other thing I wanted to say was that, the grapes did come up. So I planted these in October. And then in November, I think the grapes started coming up. I think it's the grapes. So I did get a bunch of leaves, but then it started snowing pretty soon after. Oh, and I'm just measuring because the hyacinths and the tulips need to go down about 6 inches as well, and then the grapes only need to go down 4 inches. So I'm again being a perfectionist and measuring it out. Anyway, so the grapes did come up and grew some leaves, but from my Googling, I heard that it doesn't matter if they do that as long as they don't create the flowers, because sometimes when they grow the flowers, then they won't grow the flowers. Like they'll be fine, but they just won't flower when they're supposed to. But they didn't do that. It's just leaves, and they're actually still trying to hold on because December usually we have some freezing days, but then we also have some warm days. So there's some things on my balcony that are hanging on. So it includes these grape leaves and my fern actually too. My autumn fern is still alive, which is interesting. But I'm sure in January and February it'll be too cold and everything will die. And then hopefully in March, maybe we'll see the snowdrops. I also wanted to get some leucogems. I think that's how you say it, which Monty Don also had. And I think, did Garden Answer bring it up too? I don't know, but they're basically like really big snowdrops. And I did see them in one of the stores. And they got bought up really quick. So I think everybody was looking out for them. And I thought about buying them, but then I realized that they're quite big. And here I tried to water them. I wanted to water them like in here to make sure the water got down to them, but then the bulbs just started floating away. So I realized that that is not a good idea. So after replacing the bulbs, then I put dirt on top and watered it afterwards. But anyway, the leucogems, I wanted to buy some because I thought they were really pretty big snowdrops, but they get quite big, like I said, and they need full sun, which on my balcony I don't really get full sun. I do get south facing, it's like a south facing balcony, so I do get that really strong sun, but it's blocked on the sides and on the top because of the walls and the overhanging balcony. So I didn't think it was a good idea. I didn't really have space. I bought so many plants this year, and a bunch of them are perennial and they should come back again next year anyway. So I was thinking I'll skip it for now, and then hopefully in the future when I have more space I can try those because I'd be really excited to see those too. So here I am just patting the dirt down, and maybe we'll just fast forward this bit because I think it takes me a while to press down. I was trying my best to pat it down as much as possible to get rid of any air bubbles that are in there because you don't want the bulbs to be exposed to air or growing into air. But adding the water at the end should help with that too. So I did add a whole bunch of water on top of that. And this generally has made my winter so much better because I just have something to look forward to and I'm really excited about it. And then as a last step, I put on some mulch. I've been mulching everything. Again, I don't know if this is going to make it too soggy in there, but I think it should be fine and just keep it really warm. I'm also showing you this video of my hosta because I put some grapes in there. Um, yeah, this is just me handling the grape bulbs. I tried to make a little circle around it. And I have the snowdrops as well. The snowdrops actually do say that they want to be in a relatively wet environment. Um, so, which the hosta also enjoys being in kind of like a damper environment, I think. So, that should be a good match there at least. And I do have a little clip of the snowdrops. Woronowii Ikariae. And these should be 3 inches down and 2 inches apart. So yeah, I shoved them in all of the little nooks and crannies where I could, just with my finger poking a hole and then putting them down. So I also put some down in the bottom of the standard because I think it would match the lily of the valley well if they come back next year. So yeah, those are the things that I planted. I hope you like this video and just stay tuned to be updated. Thanks so much. Bye.